Hello, everybody, and happy Saturday. We are just going to dive right in and get going. First up, we have Lisa. Before I pass you guys up, I just want to say thanks so much for being here and spending your Saturday with us. I'm so excited for this call. I love the testimony Zooms. I love hearing your guys' wins. So thanks for being here. All right, Lisa.
Oh my gosh. Hi, everybody. Good morning. So I'm just going to dive right in as well and just let you know a little bit about my story. We have some amazing speakers that are going to cover lots of different products. So I kind of like fit mine in with what is needed to be talked about, because I literally could talk all day long about hundreds of products. I've tried so many of them, not all of them, but I got started 7 years ago, and honestly, I got started with oils and I thought that's kind of like all there was. So I wish that I would have started earlier in switching out the toxins, because I actually just wrote a mini little list, and I'm sure there's more that I forgot about, of all the things that were kind of going in the wrong direction. And around 25 years old, I started to see these symptoms pop up that I thought were really, really normal, and everyone was dealing with them. One of them was gallstones. Another one was fibroids on my ovaries. My digestion was all out of whack. Like I couldn't eat certain foods without my stomach hurting. I had a miscarriage. I had allergies. I had extreme anxiety and panic attacks, and I couldn't sleep. And all of those things I thought were normal, because lots of people around me had the same things happening. So when Young Living came along and I started to go, wow, these oils actually work. And then I went, if these oils are so good, maybe the products are as good. So I started to switch out things slowly, but I wish I would have started right away getting rid of the toxins, because that's why your body is acting like that, and that's why you're having so many issues. So I always recommend people starting like right away getting the Thieves Cleaner. This is one of my favorite products because it gets rid of so many toxins under your kitchen sink, and you can really start to like allow your body to do what it's meant to do, which is heal itself. And when we are bringing in those toxins, then that's what it does, right? So I gradually started to see all of my symptoms disappear over the period of like 2 years, because I wasn't using, like bleach and Lysol and all those other things on my countertops and on my floors and breathing it in. I actually used to clean homes part-time, and I would have to like clean the bathroom and run out of the room and open the windows and everything. And so I know I did a lot of damage to everything. And so I love this. And now I have a little baby, and she toddles around on the floor in bare feet, and I don't have to worry about a thing. Like she carries this around out of her mouth, like under the kitchen sink, and I don't have to worry. Like it's going to actually help her immune system and not harm her if she gets a little drop in her mouth or whatever. Like you don't have to freak out. And I love that. And also I love that it goes so far. You aren't spending $5 a bottle. Literally, once you dilute it, you need a capful per spray bottle, and it does your whole house, and it costs about 80 cents per spray bottle. So all of that, that's the reason why I love it. So, and the other thing I wish I would have started right away was Progessence Phyto Plus. This balanced my hormones in a way that nothing, like I've never felt so good. And for a girl that struggled, like I didn't struggle to get pregnant with my first three, but once I wanted another one on my fourth, it took me 5 years and a miscarriage and fibroids on my ovaries and all of those things. So I recommend getting this to balance out your hormones for all of the hormone disruptors you've been using throughout all of the years. So all the ladies need this. And recently I've noticed how much my daughter needs this, who is 13. And she's a little growly. So if you have daughters that are kind of getting to that age and things are changing for them, this is great for them too. So you can put it on wherever you want, on your skin, like on your face, on your wrists, but just once a day. So I saw massive changes in my overall anxiety, hormones, everything when I started using this every day. So those are my two testimonies that I will just like give you basic testimonies on those, because it's all life-changing and I could literally go for hours. Okay, so next up we have Cheryl, and she's gonna share with us some amazing testimonies that she has with some awesome products. Hi, Cheryl.
Hey, thanks for having me out. I'm going to actually share something that is kind of crazy, but it's about smoking. I was a smoker for, I know, right? Almost 20 years. Like, who does that? This girl did. But think it's still important to talk about because there's lots of smokers out there, right? And to know that there are options, because quitting is really hard. So first, I do have to say, like, you have to want to be the one to quit. Like, you actually have to want that deep down inside, right? But I was starting to notice a few things because I was taking these supplements. And I was starting to notice that my cigarettes were making me nauseous when I was taking my sulfurzymes. So that is crazy for me because I was taking the sulfurzymes for my joint pain because I was dealing with a lot of joint issues. I'm also a welder, so a lot of arthritis in my wrists and stuff like that from grinding and heavy work, right? So I started to notice that I was, sorry, my dog. I was getting nauseous when I was taking extra sulfurzyme. So then I was like, holy smokes, like, this is crazy. Because I was a really good smoker. I was really good at it. Like, it didn't bother me. Like, it was crazy. I was an athlete. Like, I'm an athlete. Like, I ran a full marathon. I was a smoker. Like, like, it's so crazy. But so it didn't really affect my lungs like that, but I was ready to quit. So when the sulfurzyme was making my cigarettes make me nauseous, I was like, holy smokes, like, this I feel is like a good stepping stone, right? I'm gonna embrace this. So I doubled up on my sulfurzyme. I was taking four regularly a day. I went up to like 6 to 8 a day, and that was just how I started. So that was a major one for me. I also upped my Super B because I take that for my mood. So I upped my Super B as well because yeah, quitting smoking, yeah, you turn into a real piece of work. So yeah, the Super B, I would definitely highly recommend that. And another thing that I noticed, actually my husband pointed it out. We did a challenge with the Ningxia and frankincense. So we were doing an ounce in the morning with a drop of frankincense in it, and then an ounce in the afternoon with frankincense in it. And I was also noticing my cravings were going down with this. So I doubled up on that as well because I wanted to, like, I'm only quitting once, like, that was it. Like, I'm not going through this again, right? So I doubled up on my Frank and Ningxia as well, which was, I enjoyed it anyways. It's good for so many levels, right? But just to help those cravings, like, it was insane. Another thing I did with the Frank was I would put it on the top of my mouth. So like, just with my thumb like this, like that, and just breathe it in, right? So it's also really good for anxiety and stuff too. So anything relaxing like that, that's how I rolled, like like that. Another one that I really loved using was Valor. I put this on the crown of my head, just like right where my unicorn stripe is there. And I just like rub it in there. And then I would usually rub it over my heart, and just to help you ground and super chill, right? Another one that I loved for just to help get through those cravings, and so I wasn't losing my wet on the kids and stuff, right? So I used the white Angelica. I did a lot of sniff tents with this. So just a drop in a roll and breathe it in. And I think those deep breaths also help, right? It's just super relaxing and brings you back down to earth a bit. But another one that I did find in my research was black pepper. So black pepper kind of tastes like an ashtray. It tastes like a cigarette a bit, right? So I had seen some people were like soaking toothpicks in black pepper, and then they would chew on the toothpick or whatever. That's not really my jam. So I just would go like this, a little drop again like that, and then rub it on my tongue like that. And then it just helps you ease through those cravings again. But another, there's quite a few steps, I guess. But I used actually this, it's not from Young Living, but it was super helpful. It's Fume. And it's just this wooden stick. And it has this little filter in it. Oh, load out. Has a little filter, and I would just drop like a black pepper on there. And then it's just the filter. And then you can inhale it like you would a cigarette. So this was really great for me when I was driving, which is just something in your hand too, right? Just to, it seems so normal. Like 20 years is a long time to be doing something and then just to let it go. So just to help ease that, this was a great tool for me. A lot of people like try to quit with other nicotine products, and I mean that might work for them, but like gum or like whatever, right? That just didn't work for me. And so to have these products that were a huge support and just made such a difference in easing that transition was so great. It was such a blessing. I mean, I just wish, I don't know, like just to find these little things, like it just takes time, right? But so that's why I feel like it should be talked about, even though like smoking is so taboo, even in like anywhere, right? But yes, there is helpful products that are healthy for you, and you'll find so many other wins by using these, not just to help quit smoking, right? But yeah, so those are my tips and tricks for quitting smoking.
Cheryl, I just have to ask you one question before you pass it off. How long since you've had your last cigarette?
About 5 months.
Amazing. Yeah. I'm so proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Christy. I've been with Young Living for about 4 years now. Before Young Living, sorry, it's really hard to talk about, but I lost my daughter back in 2006. And after that, I miscarried. So then we checked it out to figure out what was going on, and they found a fibroid on the outside of my uterus. So every time that I would get pregnant, the fibroid would grow and like grow with baby. And I kept miscarrying. I miscarried. I've been pregnant 7 times. So 2010, I had my daughter, and 2012, I had my son. They're 9 and 10 now. But in between there, once I found out about Young Living, I wanted to research to figure out if there was something that I could do, because they told me that I had to wait until I hit menopause before I could get rid of this fibroid. And I thought, well, there's got to be something. So I actually asked Lisa, and she mentioned to use Copaiba, Ningxia, and Sulfurzyme. So I was doing that for about 3 months. And then I booked my ultrasound to see how bad my fibroid was. And they actually told me it was completely gone. And I was just absolutely shocked. Like, yeah, just shocked. So after I found that out, I had to tell everybody, because if these 3 products can do that, what can the other ones do? So yeah, I just wish that I had these products way back when, and I didn't have to go through all of that. But now that I know, and I can tell others so they don't have to go through it. But yeah, and I drink Ningxia every day because it's so good for you. It's great for my iron levels as well. Yeah, I think that was it.
Wow, that was powerful. That brought tears. Thanks for sharing, Christy. That's amazing.
Thank you.
I am here to tell my story. it all started way back about 6 years ago. And it actually what brought me into Young Living. I have 3 kids and they're all about 2 years apart. So at the time, my oldest was 7 years old and he was wetting the bed all the time. And as a mom of 3 who's working full-time, part-time, back and forth, I was exhausted and I was fed up. So I went and took my son to the doctor. And the first thing the doctor said was, well, we can give him medication. And if you research the medication, the side effects of that medication is way worse than the actual bedwetting. So I was like, no way. So the doctor said, well, then you're just going to have to outgrow it. And I was like, no. I was like, so I do what a lot of moms do. And I went home and I got onto Pinterest and started looking up natural ways of curing bedwetting. And up popped this little bottle of Valor. And I think I was calling it Valor at the time, so I had no idea. And so I was like, oh, essential oils? I totally know essential oils. So off I trot to the health food store and I walk in asking for Valor. And they had no idea what I was talking about. And I was like, what? I was like, I need this oil, like I need it. And so I went home and started researching it and researching actually finding out that it was from Young Living, and then researching the company and everything like that. And I was kind of blown away. And when they say something comes into your life right at the right moment, it's no word of a lie, because the very next day I went to work, and back in the day then, Lisa and I used to work at the same place, and up on our internal website, she posted this things that she was having a Young Living party. And I was like, that's what I need. And so I walked in, and back in the day, the starter kits were a little bit different. So I was excited to learn that 2 out of the 3 oils that I needed were in the starter kit, and I needed the diffuser because I didn't have a diffuser in my home at the time. And that was the combo that I needed. I needed diffuser and 3 oils. And so I literally walked into this Essential Oils 101 class and I was like, I don't need to know anything about this. I picked up my kit. She had one on hand and I picked it up and I literally walked out like I didn't even stay. I was like, I got this. And I remember her talking about essential rewards. I was like, yeah, whatever. Sign me up. I don't care. I was like, I'll cancel next week, right? And so I was like, just get me out of here. I don't want to stick around for this party, right? So I got my kit, went home. And you guys, this is a true testimony about consistency with oils, okay? So I used Valor, which is still today, like my first oil I ever got, my very favorite. So back in the day, the kits used to come with Valor and Peace and Calming in them. I still miss that, but anyways, so those were the 2 oils that I needed, plus I needed an extra oil, which was cypress. So the key is putting Valor on the bottom of his feet. So every night, this was an every night deal, okay? So Valor on the bottom of the feet, I truly believe it's because they call Valor, I don't know if you know the old wives' tale about this, but it's a chiropractor in a bottle, right? Truly believe that was a stepping stone for that. So Valor on the bottom of his feet. Now cypress, if you look up cypress oil, it's amazing for so many different things, but it also supports the bladder, okay? So we put cypress over his bladder every night. So we just dropped it on, okay? And we didn't know what we know now back then. Okay, we were all newbies. So I legit just dropped these oils straight on my kid, which is probably a big no-no. Okay. So I highly suggest probably diluting them or at least testing them on your kids. My son was fine. Nothing happened to him, but I like literally put them on neat and it was just how it was. But if you're trying this for the very first time and your kids are not oily, I highly suggest diluting it out with a carrier oil, but I did not because I didn't know any better back then. And then the other key thing, and this is key, you guys, and I don't know, I have my theories on this, but Peace and Calming in the diffuser, okay? Not only does it smell amazing, come on, it smells amazing, but I truly believe it was helping with his sleep patterns while, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know science. I'm just guessing. And I just truly believe that it helped him with his sleep. And it was the key. It was the combo. All 3 of those things. Okay, you guys, all 3 of those things. And I did it for, let's say, okay, so it was 2 weeks. And all of a sudden he stopped wetting his bed. And my husband was like, you and your voodoo. He's like, he's just going through a dry spell. Like, no way, whatever. And I was like, whatever, I'm still doing it. So every night these oils went on. And every night he didn't wet his bed. So I went out, I think I actually went to Essential Oils 101 class. So I was out with the ladies at bedtime. And of course the oils didn't go on because daddy wasn't going to use this voodoo. And the oils didn't go on and he wet his bed. Next night, mommy's home, the oils go on, right? And he doesn't wet his bed. So we go on for a little while longer. And then he went and spent the weekend at uncle's house. And the 2 nights that he was there, of course, uncle wasn't going to put the oils on. And he wet his bed both nights he was there. Come home the next day, put the oils on, he's not wetting his bed. No word of a lie, you guys. Like, this was like, whoa. And so my husband finally started catching on. And he started looking at the oils and started using the oils because we were waking up in the middle of the night changing sheets, right? And so we did it was consistently, you guys, every single night for about 6 months. And we just slowly weaned him off, and there hasn't been an issue since. It was such an amazing thing for this mama to just to get her sleep. But I've had other members reach out to me about this, and they say it doesn't work. And I was like, well, how long have you used it for? And they're like, well, 1 or 2 nights. And I'm like, you guys, it needs to be consistent. And each one of us has a different makeup. Like, we're all made up differently, right? So I actually had one member, and she did it every night on her son for 30 days, okay, for just about a whole month. And she was ready to give up when it started working. So that's just to say, like, everybody's body is different and everybody's makeup is different. So just because it took a day for one person, it could take 30 days for the next, right? And I honestly, truly believe from our history with Young Living and all the progress that we've had as a family, I could talk about so many other testimonies, but our progress as a family, it's literally 4 months of consistency to see true changes in your life, right? So 2 weeks, 30 days is really nothing to be able to do that. And you guys, it literally took 2 seconds every night to be able to do it. And it gave so much confidence to my son, because at the time, his little brother, who was 4 years younger, was completely potty trained during the day and at night. And he was starting to have an issue with it because he was having to wear pull-ups, but his little brother wasn't. So the confidence you could see was starting to go too. So it helped with the confidence in him. And it was just truly an amazing thing. And one more thing I just want to say is, because I did buy that kit, I'm a very frugal mama. And because I did buy that kit, I did not want to waste those oils that I had sitting on the shelf. So because of that, I started reaching for those on a constant basis. And from there, we have so many other aha moments in our home that I could go on for hours about. But because we reached for them and we used them and we were consistent with them, it was an amazing thing. I tell my members all the time too, if the doctor came to you and gave you antibiotics and you had to take them every day for 7 days, why wouldn't you use oils consistently for 7 days or however long it takes? Like, your doctor tells you to do it, why wouldn't we do it? Essential oils, I heard somebody say the other, it was in a book I was listening to, saying that essential oils, they're calling essential oils the alternative medicine, when really essential oils are the original medicine. So we need to get back to using our original medicine and getting back to being healthier and just living a healthier lifestyle. So that's my testimony. Thank you for listening. And I am excited to introduce Sarah to tell her scary mom win. It was scary at the moment, but she got a mom win out of it. So Sarah, you're up.
Hi. Great, thanks. Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm pretty new to using oils. I did have a scary moment where my son got bit by a dog, and his finger, he probably should have had 1 or 2 stitches. But we didn't end up taking him for stitches. We ended up using oils instead. And what we did was we put tea tree oil on to disinfect it, lavender to help with the pain, and then we put Halcrisium on. And we did that probably for about 3 to 4 times a day for 4 days, and it was healed. Like, we were amazed. And that's kind of, I think, when my husband first realized that, like, oils do work. Because if he had gotten stitches, he probably wouldn't have been healed for at least 7 days. So we swear by Halcrisium now when somebody gets a cut, because it's like liquid stitches almost in a bottle. But that's my testimony. It's kind of short and sweet, but yeah. So I guess I'll introduce Tika. She's next.
is Tika here? Oh, I see her. There she is. Hi, Tika.
Hello. Sorry about that. Okay, so I also had another a scary mom moment. Moms are here. Hi, everybody. October 2018, we almost lost my mom. She had a external cyst that burst inwards and caused her body to go septic within a few hours. Like that morning, she was okay. We went out to the racetrack because we were working at the concession stand, and things were okay. She was feeling a little nauseous. She felt it burst, but thought it was going to just do what it normally does and drain, right? But within an hour, she started feeling really nauseous. She went and sat down for a little bit. I oiled her up. She felt better. She worked for another hour, felt nauseous again, and went to lay down in the van. And things got super busy, and I was working the grill, so I couldn't go and check on her for a couple hours. By the time I'd went and checked on her, she was almost unresponsive. She was barely able to open her eyes. She was hardly able to talk. I asked her, I feel like I should call you an ambulance. Are you okay if I call you an ambulance? And Mom's like, no, I just need to go home. I probably just need my insulin and need to sleep. And I'm like, Mom, I really think you need to go to the hospital. She's like, no, just call your dad. So my dad worked for one of the towing companies in town, and he drove flat deck. So he came and he picked up the van, he picked up my mom, he picked up me and my little sister and my little sister's friend who was also there playing around. Dropped us off. I was hoping that he would help convince my mom to go to the hospital, but he just dropped us off at the house and I took care of my mom. One of the things that had happened was like when we were getting her out of the van, we noticed that her body had released a little bit and there was a mess. She had peed herself. And so when I got her to the house, I helped her have a bath. And like she was able to do that. She was not like fully there, like she was able to function, but not fully there. I was having to help her with everything. And I waited until her boyfriend at the time came home because her and my dad weren't together and aren't together. And when her boyfriend got home, he sent me home in a taxi, and he called an ambulance for her at 3 in the morning. They got her to our local hospital, which we're actually just driving by right now. It's tiny. It's basically a walking clinic. It doesn't even have a proper ultrasound system. Anyway, so they held her here for 5 days, and she was unresponsive. They couldn't get her to talk or anything. She was barely able to eat or drink for herself. And they ended up only, like, she's diabetic, and they ended up only giving her orange juice, apple juice, and Jello the entire time she was at our hospital. Okay. They ended up, when the ambulance came to take her to the Kamloops hospital, they ended up testing her blood sugar and finding out that her blood sugars had skyrocketed. Her electrolytes had dropped to 0. And it was just terrible. The next day after getting her back to the Kamloops hospital, she was in ICU there the entire time. She was there for 2.5 weeks. And the very next day they were able, like, she was able to start talking again. She was able to sit up in bed. Unfortunately, during this whole time, her muscles atrophied. And even afterwards, her muscles still haven't fully come back because they never ended up sending her for any chemotherapy, physiotherapy. And so they, after we got her, well, actually the first time I went to go visit her, I brought her Ningxia. And when she was released from the hospital, they told her that it'll take a few months for her blood sugars to start evening out again, that they would fluctuate quite a bit. And
is there anything else with that?
Sorry. And so the very next week when we went in to see her diabetic technician to get a game plan going, they did a check on her meter, and because they can go back and check all the days that she's been using her meter, and they were floored to see how even her meter was. And they were asking, like, what is it that you're doing? Like, how is this even possible? Because we've never seen this before. And we're like, well, the only thing that mom has been doing every single day is drinking her Ningxia Red. And her doctor, her diabetic technician, she's like, what's Ningxia Red? And mom and I were like, well, it's a superfruit drink that is made, or that the Ningxia berries, the wolf berries, are derived from the Ningxia region of China. She's like, what? How did I know this? I'm Chinese. And she's like, I have to look this up. So we gave her all the info and everything like that. And yeah, they were floored at how fast and how easy mom's stuff all evened out. Now, I know that it's not compliant to say that it has anything to do with it, but that is the only thing that mom had changed. She was still eating everything that she was normally eating on a regular basis. And besides the fact that after she got out of the hospital, we started changing all the chemicals. We kicked out all the bad products and we started switching everything over to the Young Living products. My grandma came down and helped out. It was awesome. And mom, yeah, she hasn't had one of those cysts ever since.
Oh my gosh, these testimony calls, you guys. I'm like, I've been in this for 4.5 years. You'd think that like this wouldn't hit me as hard, but I'm like emotional listening to all of your stories because like, oh, these wins. And I love how interchangeable these products are. Like how many people talked about Valor? How many people talked about Sulfurzyme? And for so many different things, from like smoking to bedwetting to like, it's incredible to me. It never ceases to amaze me. Anyways, I also have Sulfurzyme here and Ningxia, so that's funny. So my story, so hi everybody, my name is Gloria for those who don't know me, and like I said, I've been in Young Living now for 4.5 years, just about 5 years this summer. It has been the best journey ever, and like these other folks, I could talk about like 100,000 testimonies and aha moments, and it was really hard to choose one. But I think for me, one of the biggest things, and this is from somebody who lived with chronic pain for 9 years, but the biggest win for me actually came down to my skin, which may sound vain, but after I turned 12 years old, I had cystic acne, and I had acne my whole teenage life. And to some, it may seem like it's not a big deal, but when your skin is covered in cystic acne, it is, it's terrible. It is, your self-esteem is really low. You don't want to go to school. You don't want to see people. You cancel plans all the time. I was the kid, even young adult, that was up at night reading acne.org, trying every single thing that would help my skin, and nothing worked. I was on Accutane, I was on birth control, I was on steroid creams. I spent thousands of dollars on laser treatments to help with scarring, and nothing worked. In fact, Accutane put me into a really scary depression where some really dark thoughts crossed my mind. So if you even have anyone who's considering that, like don't ever do that route, because that is not really fixing it. Yes, we do have time for another testimony. If anyone is listening right now and they're like, I have something I want to share, put your hand up when I'm done, okay? We want to hear from you. So all of that, and then I would try some things and they would work for a little bit, but then it would come back with a vengeance. And what I didn't understand back then was that nobody was getting to the root of what was going on with me. Nobody was getting to the real problem. And I think so many times we try and fix the fruits of the tree instead of getting to the root of what's really going on. We bandage things. And that's kind of how healthcare is set up these days. Anyone that's been through any kind of chronic pain or acne or anything like that, you get medications thrown at you a lot of the times, right? If you've been on that journey, hopefully you haven't. But for me, when I first got that starter kit, I went to my first class, and I remember somebody talking about how lavender oil helped their child's burn and made it pink up again, because they had like a 2nd degree, almost 3rd degree burn, and that lavender really helped. And so I thought, oh, lavender for skin, I'm going to start using lavender oil on my skin, which I have right here. And I would have paid $199 for this one bottle. So if anyone ever says like $199 to get started, no, that kit is worth I don't even know. It's like the best money I've ever spent. But this lavender oil here was step number 1 for me. I started putting it on just neat. I didn't, at the time, I couldn't even put moisturizer on my face or I would break out. Like that's how bad it was. And so I started just using it neat. And the next morning, the redness was reduced like a ton, like the most noticeable that I had seen anything work that fast. It wasn't gone overnight, but it was like, whoa, my skin looks way better. So I started digging around at like what other oils I could use. So I started using frankincense and copaiba as well, that are in the starter bundle. And my skin started to turn around to the point where people at work were like, what are you doing? Like they could see the changes, and that like boosted my confidence, right? I was like, oh my gosh, like something's finally working. But I would have to say, like, so that was still treating it from the outside, right? So it was working, but let me tell you, when I stopped using toxic products, okay, when I stopped using deodorants with SLS, I stopped washing my face with things that had chemicals in it. And most of those chemicals actually cause acne and wrinkles, by the way. They're just put in a pretty bottle to make you think they're good for you, but they're not. So when I stopped using all those toxins and I started like replacing my cleaners and stuff, I mean, I don't even have to use the oils on my acne anymore because I'm not getting it anymore, because I think my gut needed healing. Actually, I don't think my gut needed to be healed. I needed to be healed from the root. And so if you know somebody that is dealing with like cystic acne or chronic pain or anything like that, like get to the gut. And so like a lot of these girls have said, like this right here, Sulfurzyme and Ningxia is life. So I actually lent out a few bottles of Ningxia, like quite a few bottles of Ningxia in the last little bit. And then I thought I had extra and I ran out, and I was out of Ningxia for 4 days, and I started getting like acne again. And I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea like that how important the Ningxia is for my skin. Cause like I use it for my joint pain and for my hair and for my nails, but for skin health, it's literally for all the things. Like if you don't know where to start in Young Living, Ningxia is life. How many of us, like if we could only have one product, would choose Ningxia? If like, don't make me choose one, but like, because it has the oils and everything in it, right? So that has been a huge win. Also, okay, the bloom is amazing. I've heard a lot of amazing stories about the bloom, but I am like an orange blossom girl for life. This on my skin, if I get a breakout at all, this and lavender oil together, it's like gone, like so fast. So that is huge. Also, if you're someone who's dealt with cystic acne and you have the red patches from having acne, what's it called now? Hyperpigmentation, right? Lemon oil, you guys, lemon oil and frankincense for skin brightening. If you have anything like that, like kind of damage, has been massively helpful, like way better than thousands of dollars that I spent on laser treatments that didn't really do anything. So lemon oil, but don't put lemon on in the morning because it like attracts the sun and not in like a good way, like it will burn your skin kind of way. So only use it at night, okay? But I mean, it doesn't even have to be acne. Anything that you're dealing with chronic, like seriously, get in that gut, start healing that gut, which means kick out the toxic cleaning products that you're using, start supplementing. We have so many amazing supplements. I feel like I could talk for another hour on just the supplements, but if you can only choose one supplement right now, like Sulfurzyme is, I really think this is what, I don't want to say healed because that's not compliant, but I used to be in chronic pain every day for 9 years and have cystic acne and crazy panic attacks. And now I'm not, and I don't. Weird. Ever since Young Living came along, it helped my body because our bodies are meant to self-heal and they're meant to like regenerate. That is how we are designed. And it's just, they can't do that when you have tons of toxins that are building up and bogging things down. Your body just can't keep up. So I always like to say it's like the dirty fish tank theory. Has anyone heard this? If you have a super dirty fish tank and your fish are really sick, do you medicate the fish or do you clean the fish tank out? It's that simple, like clean your fish tank out and then you'll be happier and healthier. And oh my gosh, clear skin is like the best. If you know anyone that is struggling with that, like start them on that. It's so cool to have these tools to help my teenage daughter who's starting to go through that. And I wish I would have known about this when I was younger. Like, oh my gosh, could have saved so much pain. But now I get to share with anyone who will listen to me. So that's my testimony. And also, Heli Chrism for the scarring. I just want to say C-sections. If you have anyone that's gone through any kind of like that or any other kind of surgery, like Heli Chrism is like liquid stitches. It's crazy how fast I healed up from that in lavender. So another amazing thing. Like I said, I could talk all day, but I'm going to pass it over now. Nikki has a testimony. Thanks, Nikki. I hope I didn't miss anyone else. I just saw Nikki. Okay. Hi, Nikki.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so I actually have a Ningxia testimony. Gloria's talking about it, so I thought a perfect time to share about ours. So we were 5 weeks pregnant when we found out that we had a gestational hemorrhage. So I was at work and I started bleeding. And so it was during all of the craziness in the world too. So going to the hospital at that point was also a very scary thing to do. But we were in the hospital. They had told us we had miscarried, and I was in the hospital then for 8 hours to do some testing to only find out that the baby was actually still alive, but we had a gestational hemorrhage. And so when I had asked what we could do for that point to try and heal that, the doctors told us there was nothing we could do, and that we only had a third of a chance of keeping the baby, which is very heartbreaking to hear, obviously. And so I kept asking because it just didn't feel right in my gut to do nothing to heal anything. And they just kept telling me there was nothing, absolutely nothing we could do, just go home and hope that everything would be all right. I had requested like bed rest or like anything that I could get my hands on. They told me there was nothing, no matter what I did. And I do work a job lifting children all day long. So I was quite nervous about that. So I did choose to do some things like myself by like not lifting children and going on bed rest. But I turned to Ningxia because I had read so many testimonies on placenta health and Ningxia that I had to just like, I was like, I need to try, I need to do whatever I can to heal this. And so I upped my Ningxia, like we drink 2 ounces of Ningxia every single day. And so I chose to up my Ningxia to 10 ounces a day. I was drinking it like crazy. I upped it so much. I upped it to 10 ounces a day. And the Ningxia helped heal my body. I'll say it that way because like Gloria said, if you say it a different way, it's not compliant, but it helped heal my body or helped my body heal the placenta. And obviously we were able to carry out full term. She had like the healthiest placenta they had ever seen. And yeah, she is the healthiest baby alive after having like a gestational hemorrhage. So super thankful for Ningxia and like just products to support our bodies, especially going through something like pregnancy. It was definitely like a blessing to have that in our corner for sure. Yeah, that's my testimony.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Look at your beautiful baby. Aw, that's so beautiful. Ningxia, you guys, I'm telling you, it's life. Don't ever be without it. Does anybody else have a testimony that they want to share? We still have some time. I like pulling up random testimonies. Anyone else want to share? If you're scared to share, you can type it and I can read it for you, but I would love to see your face. If we don't have anyone else, we can let you go and have a happy Saturday. Oh, yes. Let's hear it, Helene. Yes. I love this.
Hi, everybody. I think there are so many wins that we had in our house, but the one that wows me all the time is actually a few years back, we went to Hawaii and my husband got a really bad bronchitis from the air conditioning there. So when we got home, it was before the Young Living time. So he got on medication. It was kind of better. But every time he got a little bit of a cold, you know, he was just coughing really hard. You know, it was like a bark, really scary all the time. And then now when he comes up with that, now we have the tools. So I put in, I go and rub in his feet and his chest, you know, the pressure points on the feet. Usually I do the whole sole on both feet and either RC or Raven. And every time he doesn't cough anymore. It instantly stops. It's just absolutely amazing. And every time actually, and even sometimes when he's under a lot of stress or he gets a cold, you know, he's outside working a lot. So the wind is blowing and then he has maybe an earache and then he gets really dizzy, you know. So then I either put on purification or Melrose is really good too around his ear. And then also I go to the pressure points on the feet, on the toes. When you do pinpoint that, it's just gone like that. And one time he was so dizzy in the morning. Usually he doesn't mind that dizziness. He thinks that's kind of funny. It's just a guy thing, you know. So, so he gets up, but he's really dizzy. And I haven't seen him like that because he goes back and says, oh my goodness, I'm so dizzy. So, and then, so I look it up and I come across Tangerine. I said, okay, so I put on some Tangerine on the pressure points on his feet. And then I gave him some to inhale too. And then he tried and he said, I can't believe it. I'm a little bit dizzy, but it's so much better. So it's just amazing. It's just amazing. And you know, it's, we are with Young Living, we ditched all the products and I totally believe it is not just one thing. If we switch things out, it's just the best thing ever. And it's almost 3 years now and I'm doing some cleaning up and you don't even believe how many medications that has been expired I come across. We don't use anything of that anymore. You know, it's amazing. No eardrops, no cough medicine. It's just unbelievable. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. You guys, this was such a powerful call. Seriously, never get like, this is why we share, because people are meant to thrive, right? Okay, we are going to get this downloaded to a shareable YouTube link so you can share with anybody who needs to hear this, which is like everybody who doesn't have it. Am I right? Yeah. Have a beautiful Saturday, everybody. This was
Thanks
awesome.
everyone for sharing. Such a good call. Bye.
Bye, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.